What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome finally to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are here. We are rolling, and we're excited to be here and talk all things NC State. And with that being said, Greg has a funny look in your eye, Greg. Is there something in particular that's catching your eye here a little bit?
I mean, it looks like you're wearing a hat for the fighting Elon Musk.
Christians, Greg. The fighting Christians,
Greg. The fighting Musks.
Yeah. No. Hey, listen, Greg. Here's the thing, man. First of all, every single time I get a chance to poke you a little bit, I enjoy it. But also, too, man, I gotta be honest here. That Tuesday, like talking about conflicted, I'm sitting here like, I literally when Elon pulled off that upset against NC State, first thing I said to my wife is, "Bev, maybe we should be going to more Elon baseball games," because I'm like, dang, I mean, they just
my cousin is a professor at Elon, and he doesn't even wear Elon gear. Like, what are you even doing with your life?
Hey, listen, Greg, when my money, where my money goes, my heart goes. And so when my wife got her doctorate at Elon and the money came out of my pocket to get that, and hey, but here's two things though, Greg.
They don't give you a free hat, so you had to buy it.
Well, but here's the thing, though, Greg. Two things, though. First of all, this hat was signed by Mr. Matt McKay, who's former NC State quarterback, transferred, started at Elon. So shout out. So I got the only hat that's Elon hat that is signed by a former NC State football player. So I gotta love that. Also, too, man, one of my favorite players from last year's NC State football team, Cody Hardy, man, from Elon. So shout out to Elon. So that's
whatever makes you sleep better at night.
That's how I'll put it back on that. I'll rep it back again, man. Don't you worry. But anyway, though,
so what's going on? Salt in the wounds. You just like throwing salt in the wounds.
Hey, man, just listen. It's not Elon's fault that none of the bats decided to show up on Tuesday.
Literally, we had 8 hits. We just couldn't put anything together. Like,
yeah,
exactly. It happens. It happens. We'll get into it.
Runs. So, but with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, welcome again back. We're excited. We got a lot to get to here today. We have an old school segment that we are finally bringing back. Hint, hint, hint. With that being said, you got already Michelle in the comments. Good, marvelous Monday evening, Wolfpack Nation. Michelle, always a pleasure. Got how dudes do saying okay. I love it. Short, sweet, to the point, 2 letters. Love it. So with that being said, if you've been with us before, you know the drill. If you haven't, any questions, thoughts, concerns that you have about NC State men's basketball placement, women's basketball, baseball, wrestling, you name it. Let's get to it all here today. So let's just let's just hit the nail on the head here first, Greg. Since we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, let's just get it rolling here. So, NC State baseball coming off a very interesting week, to say the least, for
Yeah,
sure.
we won the
Starting
series.
well, and that's why that's again like it's a solid series win with a head scratcher of a second game, which we'll talk about that for sure in the series, but then also too with a very rough loss for sure to Elon, during the midweek. But again, so and with that being said, we talked privately, Greg, about what does NC State need to do in order to not see a significant drop in the rankings, and I'll be completely honest with you, Greg. I was shocked that we won the series 2 games out of 3, lost to Elon, and we still stayed at number 10. I'll be honest. I was kind of shocked by
Yeah,
that.
and D1 baseball for anyone, for people that don't really follow baseball per se, there's multiple publications that put out rankings, and D1 baseball, and the NCAA goes by d1baseball.com for their official rankings. And that's the one you're referring to. But I've said it in our chats. D1 baseball, they catch a little flack here and now. They catch some strays, as the kids like to say, with some of their rankings. But they put a lot of value into weekend series wins, and so the Pack got that 2-1 over Boston College, like you mentioned. So they didn't really ding them too much, but yeah, there was some losses all up and down the top 25 this weekend, and it's baseball. It's not like basketball where you play once, maybe twice a week, and then that just really adversely affects you. Baseball, you're going to play anywhere from 4 to 5 games depending on that week's schedule.
Yeah. So, let's talk about here first. Greg, besides, just not being able to put bats together, is there any other really big takeaways you kind of leave in the Elon game, watching the Elon game that you could take away from that game?
No, look, solidly pitched game by the staff. When you only give up 2 runs, I don't care who the opponent is. The pitchers have done their jobs. Just didn't get the bats going, and that happens. You're about 3 inches away from probably tying that game or winning that game in like the late innings. I think it was like the 7th when Fraseman hit like a smoker down the line, and it missed no more than 2 or 3 inches, and that thing pulls chalk. You're probably winning that game, but again, that's just baseball.
Yeah, no, absolutely agreed there. And then kind of coming out of it, a definitely solid series win versus Boston College, and I think that, and that's the thing with most of these games, Greg, as well, is that you're still so early in the season that you don't really know how good or bad truly these losses are yet. Time will tell for some of these. And I think Boston College is going to be one of those that, definitely with how their season has started off so far, again, going undefeated before losing one of their 3 games versus Miami, still winning the series at Miami, and now with NC State, winning 1 out of 2. I think this is definitely going to be one of those games that, probably, hopefully in late April, we're looking back at this series feeling a lot better about it then than we are right now.
Yeah. Again, Boston College was picked 16th in the conference. That's not the number 16 team, but at least initially, this is a team that's only had 1 practice at home all season, hasn't even played a home game yet, have been road warriors for their first 19 games. And then conversely, this weekend was the wrap up of the 18-game home series or home stand for NC State, and win ball game on Friday 4-2, ending that game with a beautiful play by Chris McHugh. Ryan Marone was solid going out and just pitching his tail off. He improved to 3-0 on the series or on the season, excuse me. You just had a really solid ball game on Friday to get it going.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest question coming out of it is really around game 2, around the relief pitching, Greg. I think that's most of NC State fans' concerns really right now when it comes to NC State baseball right now. And I know that from some of Avon's post-game comments, pretty much all of it was around the rotation, and kind of blamed a little bit, talking about how there was some preseason scrimmages that were canceled, things like that, opportunities to get more opportunities for these relief, this bullpen to see kind of who can step out. And I know as well with Andrews, he had to step away because of personal reasons too, as well. So that has something to do with it. So I don't know, man. Like, I think the one thing that definitely stands out so far through however many games we played so far is that Avon definitely and Chrysler are all about playing young pitchers right now and giving them shots. And I mean, there's two particular circumstances I can think of. One being Game 2 against Boston College, where that has not played so well in his favor. The other one being Coastal Carolina, I think it was, where we also put in another true freshman in and pulled him maybe 4 pitches in. So I don't know, like Greg, like give the NC State fans here, with your expertise and knowledge here about how do we feel better about our relief pitching, going forward into this upcoming week.
Yeah, a couple of things here. Let me just get into, like, first off, Duden, wasn't A+ Duden, but he gave you 7 good innings, left with the lead, and you have, just 2 innings to kind of clean it up and hold down the fort to get a win. So it was a really good gutsy performance by Jacob. 7 strikeouts, did give up the 4 earned runs, but one of those runs was a damn pop-up to left field that just finds its way over the wall. That thing looked like it was going to be caught all the way and then just kind of got up in the doke stream. But look, in the 8th, you had Hemrick and Collins Black pitch. It was the epic, like, domino effect of an inning. You get the first 2 on by walks, which, by the way, both of those counts get to 3 and 2. So if you can make a pitch either way, you're getting at least 1 out in one of those, if not both. And then you get a bunt for a base hit, then you get a throwing error by Luke Nixon, and then they called it a wild pitch, but it did go off Lamphier's glove. So I think that's more of a pass ball, but however you want to score it, it's how you score it, doesn't matter. And that's just the beginnings of an inning that just goes to hell in a handbasket really quick. So if you make a pitch here or there, you field a ball cleanly, you're probably out of that inning with no runs or maybe 1 at the most. And then, like I said, it just kind of spiraled after that with a triple and then a home run. And then next thing you know, it's 12-5, and the ball game is pretty much a done deal at that point. So yes, it looks like it is a collapse by the bullpen. But again, Hemrick and Black have been very good. One thing I have noticed, they do kind of take a little bit to kind of get into their groove. And it usually takes a batter or 2 to get that. And when you each walk a guy, you're putting yourself kind of behind the 8 ball and making your defense and having to make a perfect pitch. And in today's era, that's not always the easiest thing to do.
No, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And again, right now, especially in the ACC, with how tough the ACC is, any series win is a huge series win. So you definitely take Boston College, you take the series, and you move on to the next. And right now, there's blemishes for sure on this resume, but just like we've talked about, it's a long season. There's a lot of opportunities to make that Elon loss, a Lafayette loss look basically like a speck on the resume. You have that. You fully have the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not losing your chance at hosting necessarily with any of those 3 losses. We've barely played. What are we at now? Let me just pull it up. We're not a third of the way 16-4. We're 16-4, so we're just about a third of the way. Through a quarter of the way through the season. We're gonna find out a lot about this team in the next 2 weeks. We have our first true road test of the season this week, going over to Wilmington tomorrow. Then we head down to Tallahassee, and then I think we have a Campbell game next week at home, and then down to Georgia Tech for another huge series. So you're about to play 8 ball games. Wilmington's playing really, really well over there. And then 2 teams in the ACC that are going to be NCAA qualifiers unless something wild happens. And 2 of the top, arguably, Georgia Tech, Florida State, we're kind of, the 1-2 mix. So you're about to play the 2 best teams in the conference. And you're going to find out what you're made of, especially with those games on the road.
Yeah. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, it's time to bring in a little bit of support here. In order to do that, we got to go way back in time to finally bringing back our Tuffy's tweets of the week. Let's do it. Whew, man, that thing stopped quickly. So with that being said, wanted to first of all give a shout out as well. Love this graphic. Love the shout out to Ryan Marone and Duden as well, man. And just our starters this
Heath
season for sure
Andrews.
have, and yeah, Heath Andrews, who's been awesome.
All good.
To start. First time since 2021 that all 3 weekend starters pitched at least 7 innings in a weekend series. Again, just like you said, Greg, it wasn't Duden's A+ effort here for sure, but the fact that that you're feeling really good right now about where you stand. There's still, I think, a little bit of movement with that Sunday starter, but I hope. I mean, do you feel like Greg that will eventually be set in stone?
But yeah, I I hate to talk about this, but I do think it's going to be. I mean, look, Heath Andrews threw a hell of a game yesterday. One of his probably top 4 or 5 performances in a Wolfpack uniform against a gritty, I'll call it a gritty Boston College team. And look, you have 4 really good pitchers that can go out there and give you quality starts, and the other one being Cooper Consiglio, who recorded his first ever career save yesterday, coming out throwing 2 really, really good innings, and who had been arguably one of the best pitchers on the staff coming into the weekend. And then, for whatever reason, from what I understand, this was always the plan. For those that follow the Pac-9, Andrews was originally slated as the weekend guy, but kind of got out of a rocky start with the weather in Puerto Rico and kind of got pushed back, and Coop kind of came in and was holding down the fort. And so I guess, eventually they decided to go to Heath once ACC play started. And look, again, either guy can make an argument for that 3rd spot. I don't know what the logic is, but like part of me feels like they wanted another good arm in the bullpen. Again, not saying it's right or wrong. It's just what it is. And Coop's a lefty that we don't have a lot of lefties in the pen. And so maybe you're looking for an advantage there out of the pen from Coop being that lefty guy that can kind of give you a stretch. You have a couple of guys there with Anderson, Nance, and Coop that can kind of give you 4 innings relatively easy. And so while you're trying to still figure out what your bullpen looks like, maybe you feel a little bit better with two studs back there to kind of piecemeal the rest of it together. That's really the biggest thing for me. The two, there's 3 glaring things right now that I see that we kind of need to clean up is our fielding. It's still a little shaky. And then, just kind of getting guys. You'd seen a couple of guys with some kind of was, I guess I'd hate to use the word slump, but just kind of wasn't, their normal selves. And McHugh and Head specifically, but you saw them both break out yesterday, being on base a couple of times. I went back and watched a couple of the games, and I can see why Chris McHugh was shaking his head at a couple of times because, look, the ump zones have not been good over the last couple of games, and when the ump zone is not good and you don't know the consistency of what they're calling pitches, sometimes you got to go out there and kind of go hacking a little bit just to kind of protect. And so when you can't take your normal plate approach, that does have an effect. Again, both teams have to play with the same umpire, so I'm not saying that that's a factor why we won or lost, but it does directly change your approach at the plate. Yeah. So that's the other thing, is just kind of sorting out the lineup. I have to say, like, Rhett Johnson just had a stud of a weekend. I think he was like 7 of 9 on the weekend series. Every time you turn around, that kid is on base. Just a old school kind of player. So I did like seeing him kind of moved up at the top of the order. He needs to get some more plate appearances because, again, his OBS is just ridiculous. Yes. So that's one thing that I would like to see, is kind of get the orders kind of sorted out. Guys just kind of start finding their groove. And again, last thing I'll say about that is, when you play out of conference kind of mid-major type teams, you're going to feast a lot more. And so now the pitching's got to get a little more tougher. And so guys are just got to kind of have to bear down and get it done. And then the third thing, obviously, is we kind of already mentioned it, is the bullpen. Just kind of carve out roles for guys. It felt like Collins Black, they were trying to make him the de facto closer. Again, he didn't pitch horribly. I mean, yes, like the line doesn't look great. But, again, a walk here, a walk there, an error, a pass ball, that's not all on the pitcher. Now, he did give up a few things on Sunday or Saturday. But again, I think he's someone you can work with. I think you got Ryder Garino back there, Danny Hines. I think you can get some stuff from him. So just, Luke Hemrick again, Aiden Kitchens has been really well. And I think that's the makings of your bullpen, and just kind of figuring out the spots for them. And again, Anderson, Nance, and Coop. It looks like tomorrow's starter is going to be Luke Hemrick. So that he's been effective as a starter. He's been okay out of the pen. So maybe you just kind of stick with him as a starter for now. But still a lot of talent, still a lot of games to play.
Yep. Yeah, no. So I mean, I think we'll just kind of leave it at that. Still a lot of positive for sure. I mean, again, no matter what the P ratings Twitter account says, we are still in a solid place to just continue to do what you're doing, and you're still 100% talking about anything that you want postseason, whether it's hosting top 16 or even top 8, even too, is firmly not out of question here. For sure.
Still a ton of. I mean, again, we just got done with our first ACC series. We got 9 more to go of those, and got another 15 or so midweek games. Maybe not that many, but yeah.
But again, it's just. Here's the thing: is that, I mean, really, it's just every single team right now is just so up in the air right now. It's just like if we could just find some consistency across the board with everything, just start to narrow a little bit, trying to get that batting order a little bit more solidified, just to give some more guys the rotation, the reps, and then also too with the pitching rotation, kind of identify those couple of relief pitchers that we're gonna use primarily. Like I think Consiglio needs to be more of a call, honestly, than he is right now. Or, he's deserved the respect that I think the coaching staff should answer for, with giving them more opportunity, like you said, Greg. So
I mean, hindsight 2020. Here's the thing with Andrews, you didn't know what you're going to get from him on Sunday. He's a guy that you've seen go 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings. You just didn't know what you were going to get from him. And if you knew that you were going to get 7 solid from Andrews on Saturday for Sunday, you probably bring in Coop again and let him pitch back-to-back days, 2 innings each game. And that'd have been nothing. And so kind of not knowing, what Andrews is going to look like, because he hadn't, started in like a week and a half. You just didn't know what, if there was going to be rust there. And that just kind of plays into how you're going to pitch on Saturday. But I don't know. I again, you don't expect your pitchers to go out and walk guys, or people throw wild pitchers or pass balls or get errors.
Yep.
You expect your guys to go, when they're called upon, go make plays, and it just didn't happen on Saturday. And I know everyone thought the damn sky was falling on Saturday, but again, you look at what happened in that game Saturday, and again, you make a couple pitches here or there, you're out of the inning. You go make a clean play at second, and don't throw it high. Don't have a pass ball or a wild pitch. Like, those runs don't score. It's basic little things. And again, those are fixable. It was just an epic spiral snowball collapse on Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So with that being said, again, we'll kind of cap it there, unless, Greg, you have any other final comments, thoughts about baseball?
No, again, like I said, it's just you're going to learn a lot about this team. And when we have our episode in 2 weeks from today, we're going to know a lot about this baseball team.
Yes, completely agree there. Completely agree. So with that being said, let's jump on over to some men's basketball. Greg, is obviously that's the title of this live show. That's the thumbnail. That's what everybody's talking about right now, is the drama and the anticipation that comes with NC State drawing the 11 seed play-in game, and technically, per the NCAA committee, one of the last 4 teams in, which we'll get into why that's definitely interesting. Final conclusion. But my immediate takeaway, Greg, honestly, is I like our bracket. Like, I mean, like it's actually a pretty doable bracket. It's obviously facing Texas, but you've seen them before.
That's the big thing, right? Everyone's like, "Oh God, the season's over. We already lost to Texas on a neutral court by 5 points." Blah 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 blah. Right? The typical talking points.
Now we can definitely let's go ahead and and touch on the side quest, which is in men's and women's. We're facing 2 teams that we've already played this season, which is
weird.
Like, again, like for excuse my French here, for lack of better words, Greg.
We're up at 9 o'clock.
The NCAA committee just makes shit up. They really do. Like the whole we don't want to do this. We don't want to do
then don't do it.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yet you do it. Like it's just like, listen, like just don't say that stuff. Like it's just how it works out. Like it's what you want to do. Like
they like to paint themselves into the corner when they start talking, and it's like, and then they talk past themselves and around themselves, and it's like you're contradicting yourself. But there's definitely some points here where you can. Go ahead and finish your thought. I've got a really deep thought about this, how you can kind of fix some of this. Because go ahead.
I mean, just my quick thought is, I mean, basically the NCAA committee was like, well, do we want NC State to play a ACC opponent in Miami, or do we want them to play an opponent that they already played this season? So they kind of backed themselves.
You meant SMU.
Well, because
I see what you're saying on the back end on the if you win, right? That's what you're saying.
Well, because the talk was whether us or Missouri should have gotten that 10 seed, and Missouri got drawn to play Miami as the 7 seed. So
well, there's a couple of things here to this. There's a really good tweet that explains this. In fact, I mean, I should have sent it to you if you were doing tweets of the week. I would have sent this to you.
I was kind of surprised last.
No,
bring it back finally. So
no, it's all good. It's a long tweet and I'll make sure we get this posted if people haven't seen it. This account broke down all the line seeds and kind of the thought process that went behind it. To say the least, 11 seed was a freaking mess for a lot of reasons. We talked to one of the staffers on the team on Saturday at baseball, and he said that they fully expected to be in Philadelphia. And obviously that didn't happen.
Well, and what does that mean for people who may not know? Because that means that we would have gotten the 10 seed in the Philadelphia part of the region.
No, we would have gotten. Hold on, so I have it here. We would have gotten the 11 seed. So Philadelphia has either the 10 or the 11. We would have gotten, depending on how you looked at it, because of the way they do these now new pods all over the place. Right. The Philadelphia. The East bracket fed 7-10 or 2 and 15. But that would have been, 7-10, mostly like us at the 10, where UCLA and UCF are playing, or that would have been the 11 seed, which is a playing game, but that would have been Tennessee versus SMU Miami, or even Greenville as an 11 seed with VCU North Carolina. And so there was a couple of other things. Even St. Louis was in play for Kentucky. That was kind of a popular opinion on some of the on the bet boards. But all this being said is there was too many ACC teams on the 6th line. So then that couldn't give us an 11, because the other one was South Florida, who we had better numbers against, but they were pitted against Louisville. So we couldn't have that. We couldn't be the 11 seed where VCU, even though we beat them head to head, our metrics were a lot better. But we couldn't play that game because that was against Carolina. They didn't want to put us in the SMU Miami game, because if we won against Tennessee, we would have had round 4 for Virginia. And they didn't really want to see that matchup. And so it just kind of became a mess on where do you slot us? And then again, to your point earlier, a 10 seed in St. Louis, having better metrics than Missouri, but that would have fed into Miami, and they don't allow that basically for first round matchups, either first four or first round. You don't usually see those until like rounds of 32 or 16. But
No.
so my point where I wanted to make is you got to break this stuff up. Like you got to stop those like rematches and all. Like put your best 68 teams in, slot them accordingly, and let the chips fall where they fall. Because there's too many damn concessions that they try to do with giving consideration. Excuse me, to the top 3-4 teams where they try to geographically locate them. And look, I get that. I'm fine with that part. Because again, you're trying to sell tickets, and so you're not trying to sell.
I think that's the one concession you do make.
I agree. I agree.
It's like, yes, I do agree that Duke should be able to play in Greenville, South Carolina, have to travel.
I think it's ridiculous that Carolina's playing there as a 6th seed. Like they shouldn't get that kind of consideration. That's bull crap. They've not earned that, right?
Right. But again, like you said, Greg, like if the NCAA came out and said, listen, like, we're going to forget all these, no rematches, no ACC, like no.
But the problem is you're putting in double-digit teams from the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, whatever that looks like. There's only so many at-larges to begin with. Like it's damn near impossible. You got to play a damn game of Tetris, sliding in teams. Like, okay, where do they fit? Where do they fit?
Exactly.
It's so freaking stupid. Like, just go put in the best teams and rank them, snake them, and then be done with it.
Well, and just for the because that's the thing, Greg, is that really like the concession of putting the top 4 to their closest geographic area is not really it doesn't really hurt anything. It just basically like establishes like Duke gets this section, Purdue or Arizona gets this section. Like it doesn't really hurt anything. So and I think again, I do think that if you're a top 4 seed, if you're one of the top 4 overall seeds, then yes, sure, you get the benefit of that. You get to play. You're guaranteed to play as close as possible to your fan base. That's it. And then just like you said, Greg, let the chips fall as they may. If we play Miami in the first round, we play Miami in the first round. It is what it is, And so, because again, just like we said, Greg, like there's like the NCAA should just honestly just shut their mouth. Like just shut their mouth. Stop saying we don't do this because you get in this situation where it's like, well, which is. Like, which one are you holding to and which one are you backing away from? You know what I mean? Like you're going to be called a liar on something, basically.
And here comes the thing next, right? If you're talking about adding more teams to this damn tournament, and it's already a cluster F as it begins with,
no shot.
You're going to have to change everything to what the women do is play the top 4 seeds on campus. Right. And that's how you're going to have to fix this stuff. But look, at the end of the day, like Russ says here, like, go win a couple of games. Look, I get the metrics said we were this, we were that, we were, better than Missouri, better than South Florida. We were on par with VCU, but then we beat VCU head to head. But at the end of the day, the eye test had to play into the game or in the selection, and it did. You go out and lose the games that you've lost, basically. What was it, 7 of 9, something like that we lost in a row. I forgot the exact number, but it's just you got to go. You can't lose to Georgia Tech the way you lost. You can't lose to Miami the way you lost. You can't lose to Notre Dame the way you lost. You can't lose the way Stanford lost. If you win if you split those 4 games, you go 2-2 in those games. You're not playing in Dayton. You're just not. Like you're probably sitting at a 9-10 seed somewhere in the bracket. And like Wade said in his availability yesterday, like, they have no one to blame but themselves. Like you can't this is like putting the game in the hands of the referees at the end of the game and you lose by 1. You essentially put your fate into the hands of the selection committee, and they did what they did. It's just all there is to say about it.
Well, and honestly too, like here's my thing too, Greg, as well, is like I never would have honestly even thought like right before a selection committee that we would have been actually a last 4 in. But like I'm kind of hoping that honestly and it sounds like that the team kind of reacted that way. Like I hope it was definitely a wake-up call to a little bit.
I hope they got a chip on their shoulder.
Exactly. To say like, dude, like the NCAA committee just said like you were close. Like, believe it or not, you were actually close. Like you could have been that case of like you would have been the Dick Vitale, like, how is this team not in the NCAA tournament? You were almost that. Like which is crazy. So
Yeah,
Yeah, very tough.
it's crazy to look at it like had we missed out on the tournament, had we been Oklahoma or
Ooh.
Auburn, and you see Miami of Ohio get in, and you be
Mm,
like, what the F? Because
right.
like every like I don't care if you lost just one game in the season and that was in your conference tournament, you weren't that good. Again, if you're going off metrics, you were not good. You're not a tournament team. Like
Yep.
like three of their games didn't even count as wins technically because they played against opponents that didn't qualify as NCAA Division One wins. Like
Hmm.
they literally only had 28 wins. I think their net was like 54.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like a large bid is not going 9 times out of 10 to a team at 54.
Yeah.
I think they had like the 350 something ranked schedule in the
Correct.
in the year or in the tournament.
Yep.
I mean, no metrics was good. I think their best win was like against Akron, and they were like 49-51 in it all. Like it's just
Yep.
not. Now watch him go kick curb stomps SMU on Wednesday, and then they'll be like, okay, well we told you so.
I
But
don't think
I don't
that'll
see it
happen.
happening. I
Yep.
just don't. I just think
Nope.
SMU's athleticism, especially they're getting their guy back for the
Yep.
tournament. I think I think they're gonna just run
Yeah.
all over those guys.
Agreed.
And then maybe that, maybe that changes, future outlooks for tournament teams. But
Yep.
yeah, that tournament would have gotten, or that selection committee would have gotten eviscerated had they not put in Miami of Ohio.
Agreed.
The public
Yep.
perception would have been like, what are they even doing? They only lost one game. But
Yeah.
anyway, but
But
I'm glad we got in. We have an opportunity. Now you just got to go take advantage of your opportunity and shut people up. Because again, Wade has been in Dayton before. He was from first four to final four when he was on staff at VCU. He's shown that it can be done. He's got a blueprint.
Mhm.
And to your point, I like our chances once if we are able to get past Texas.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because you take care of Texas, then you face a very
Vulnerable.
BYU team for sure. Like you're talking about boom or bust. That is BYU for sure, and they're definitely a little bit handcuffed right now too as well. And then Gonzaga. Gonzaga is going to be tough because they have a elite, center that will be tough for sure. It'll be a tough challenge for Van Lubin for sure. It's going to take a good game plan around it. But
Yeah.
once again,
Still lots to get there before we
you
even
look
talk
at the
about
other
that.
three seeds, like that one is the one, okay, you're not shaking. Then Purdue, like even being the number 2 seed that you would potentially face, you make it, to that far is like nobody really has talked about Purdue at all this season. Like, they've been really kind of the snake just slithering through the grass, and nobody's really talking about this season compared to the other number 2. So with that being said, it's just like, hey, listen, just go take care of business. We've
Yeah.
said it all along. This team is good enough to beat anybody but it's just been such a diamond in the rough to actually get this team playing to that level. So, but again, just like we said, Greg, hopefully it's a chip on their shoulder attitude, and it starts with Texas. Take care of business, and it's an interesting line right now too, Greg. I don't know. I know you probably don't keep up with this,
Now
much,
we're a
but
favorite.
we were, and we switched,
Oh,
and now
did
Texas
it
is a
flip?
point and a half. Yep, Texas is now a point and a half point favorite. So
See, like you
I
said, I
don't
don't pay
ever.
attention to it.
Yep. See, I don't usually like those. See, those are
Yeah.
the movements I don't like when we're favored and then it flips to other team being favored.
Yeah, but
I'm
that's
not
just a
crazy
lot of
about
that's
that.
just based on who's betting on who and like,
Well,
it's
but it's just more of like it's more of a because I mean, at the end of the day, like Vegas is obviously who decides.
yeah,
Because hey, listen, if Vegas is feeling very confident that this team's going to win, but yet that 90% of bets are on the other team,
sure.
Vegas still might not move it because they're like, okay, you guys go ahead bet that side, sure,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Yeah.
please. So it's interesting that 45% of the bets have been on Texas, and yet it's flipped from us being favored by a point and a half to Texas being favored by a point and a half. But
Yeah.
once again, it's with this game, it really comes down to this. And here, let me switch back on over to tweet of the week here.
I mean, just
Get
be
this
ready
back.
for late night basketball this week.
Be ready for what?
Late night basketball this week.
Yep. 9:30 tomorrow night. It's gonna be a late
Well,
one.
then it's
So
like 10:25 on Friday if you advance, and then
right.
I think that's right. It says 7:25, but I don't know if that's our time. I thought it was 10. But anyway, regardless, keep going.
Yeah. So Dick Vitale came out talking about the game, saying a key in the game tomorrow between Texas and NC State. NC State must keep Texas from going to free throw lines. They're top 5 in the nation getting to the foul line. But here's the problem: we are terrible when it comes to giving up fouls. It is not good for sure. So that definitely doesn't make me feel good. And Longhorns must must D the 3 ball as Wolfpack make 10.4 3-pointers per game. And so, but again, also Texas also shoots a good amount of 3-pointers as well. So I don't know what the over-under is, but I'm definitely, it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I feel like I totally see this being like both teams at least 80 points game.
Yeah.
I totally see that happening.
Off of this tweet by Dickie V here, to the point, they shot 33 free throws in the first game against us, and they were 28 of 33.
Can have that.
And we missed 8 free throws. We were 20 of 28. And then the 3-point shooting, we it says 10.4 here. We made 9 in that game, but the problem was they made 16. They were 16 to 32. And that's really where the game was, decided. We got out rebounded, and they have a big front line. But we only got out rebounded by 3. And we had some of their guys in a little bit of foul trouble. I'm just trying to see. Yeah. They had one guy, Swain. He's their 6'8" guard. We got him fouled out. And then Hyde is a forward. We had 4 on him. But yeah, I mean, they had the guy that they had come off they had 2 guys come off the bench and hit 3 of 5 on 3-pointers. We're good. And again, some of that shooting luck, right? And so maybe they don't have that shooting luck that they had in the first matchup out in Maui. And I mean, Pope went 7 of 13 from 3. And I'm just trying to see like how many keep going, but I'm just trying to see how many 3-pointers that he made. I mean, he shot he shot 53.8% against us in 3-pointers, and he's only 38.7 on the season. So I mean, he definitely outshot his normal average in that game. It's just,
it's wild. So again, tomorrow's really just going to be basically just throw a bunch of fish in the barrel and just see what happens. It's going to be like, you don't know what you're going to catch. You don't know what you're going to hit. You don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be, now here's my last question though, Greg, here for sure. It's kind of like, do you go out with your guns blazing? Do you go out, putting your best foot forward? Like, do you feel like Will Wade's going to see if somehow he can go out with, trying to get the ball to Darian Williams and see if you can get him into a rhythm here in this postseason?
Yeah, I think that's your game plan early on. Because it just always feels as that if he gets some good early looks and gets some touches and gets some baskets to go down, he ends up playing a much better game for you. The one thing I will say is that you've got a bunch of dudes for NC State that this is their last game if they lose, and so I feel usually when you're kind of a wounded dog, you're gonna see some fight from that dog, and I think that you've got four dudes that their season or their career is done at college when the season is over. So I don't think any of those dudes are trying to end their season or their careers tomorrow night.
No. Yep. Nope. I completely agree with that too. Yeah. I mean, especially Quadir Copeland, I'm looking at you, man. Like, I don't know what you're. Again, I'm definitely not going to be a proponent here of betting for sure, especially on player props. But I'm sitting here saying, listen, assist numbers I think are going to be pretty heavy from Quadir Copeland tomorrow night. So,
that's really the biggest thing is we need Q to play a clean game. Like, don't just force passes that aren't there. Take care of the ball. Like, I would love another one of those SMU performances where he has 16 assists and no turnovers.
Yes.
If you get something like that, I definitely like our odds. But just give me plus 8 to 9 on the turn. Again, I'm not saying you have 18 assists and 9 turnovers, so that's not what I'm saying. But I need him to be like plus 10 turnover to assist ratio tomorrow night. Look, Look, Darion has the ability to affect the game with his passing. I would love to see some of that. Just make the extra pass. What do you get from Paul McNeil in this game? Do you get Paul McNeil that's lighting it up from three, or do you get Paul McNeil that struggles to get shots up? In the game against Texas early, he had 20 points. That's one of his better games of the season. Yep. And can you play key defense? Like, can you get a stop in crunch time and or not turn the ball over if it's a tight game in the last minute or so? Because we've had a propensity to do that and kicking some of these games away.
Yeah. Nope. So again, man, just hoping for the best here. It's fingers crossed. This team 100% can get the job done, and being honestly that you're facing a team where the first time around they got you. Like, I'm sitting here saying, hey.
But you can have the last laugh.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get the last laugh, and you get definitely the more preferred laugh for sure. All day long.
The one that really matters.
The one that really matters. Let's go make it happen. Now another tweet which I want to bring in here, Greg, and this is before we kind of jump into NC State specific women's basketball. I thought it was a very interesting synopsis here. So let me pull it back up here. But basically, this is a graph that was put together, basically showing. Basically on the x-axis, how much money was spent from an NIL perspective on that women's basketball team that made the NCAA tournament. And then basically on the y-axis is what seed they got as a result of it. And as you see here, Greg, I'm no math major here, but, there definitely seems to be a correlation here that goes from, that the less money you spend, the lower seed you got, the more money you spent, the higher seed you got. It really went almost exactly like that.
Yeah.
Being that your highest seeds being UConn and South Carolina spent almost $12 million NIL. Your lowest seeds spent.
Well, it's not NIL exactly. I don't think it's all
share,
NIL. Yeah.
The whole shebang.
Well, I think some of that too. If I'm understanding what this means, it's their expenses, right? So I think that's travel. I think that's everything that they spend in order to run their program.
Right. The money that goes into the program. Exactly. Yeah. Appreciate you clarifying that. So with that being said, do you feel like Greg,
women's basketball?
Well, I was again. One question, because I haven't seen the men's version of this, but do you think, Greg, that the men's would be pretty similar to this?
Yeah, there was a tweet out today that showed what state men's basketball was, and I think it was like $20 million. Was it 12 million? Yeah, 12. No, I think it was 12. I'll find it.
I think it was 12.
Yeah, I think it was 12. I don't think it was 20. I don't know what the hell I'm even trying to talk about. Yeah.
Here's the one thing though, Greg, is that if they show that graph, there would be honestly probably it would be a perfect correlation all the way across, but then Kentucky would just be like
the outlier.
Yeah. Like, dude, you spent how much money and you're where? Like, holy crap. So anyway, that was a little crap on Kentucky opportunity there. So
no. I think if you look at state, they're buried in this graphic. They're like right behind Georgia and Indiana.
Yeah, so all the 7 seeds spent the exact same amount of money. So
I don't know. Look, we just don't have that kind of money, so you're just gonna kind of have to take what you get and be happy with it, unless people are willing to step up on some of those donations. But it is also how you spend the money too. Again, you heard it from Wade on his introductory press conference. Just because you have money doesn't mean you have to spend it. You definitely want to don't be frivolous with it, but make smart, sound decisions and see how far your money can really get. There's tons of guys out there that aren't making a lot of NIL, and they can be huge contributors. So.
No, 100%. So moving on to the women's side here, first of all, Greg, were you surprised at all that we drew a 7 seed? Do you feel
a little?
Yeah.
Like,
you thought it was shocking that we would be that high, or
that high?
Yeah, I agree.
I thought we were going to be an 8.
I agreed.
I mean, at least you avoid a juggernaut at one of those 1 seeds. So you take the 7 and run. I think you can I think you can do some damage with that. It is interesting that I believe Michigan has a former NC State assistant on their staff, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think you're right.
I have to go back and I'll pull that up real quick. But
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by that. Again, just not that we couldn't be like as high as like a 6 or a 5 if we had really played the way we were supposed to play this year. So yeah, I mean, the first round exit from the ACC tournament kind of was on that downhill trajectory, like much like the men was a little bit to end the season. Again, not your vintage NC State women's basketball program. This is definitely uncharted waters. I can't remember the last time we were a 7 seed in an NCAA tournament. I remember the last time like we went on the road was with the Diamond Johnson Camille Hobby team that we lost to like Princeton out in like Arizona or Utah or something like that. But
Utah,
it's been a minute since we've been like this.
Yeah, no, well, and also too, like it's so sad, Greg. But I'm just sitting here like, I don't know. I'm looking honestly at these next 2 games, whether it's Tennessee, which Tennessee is it's a tough 10 for sure.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, they're only 16 and 13. Like again, I felt like that women SEC bias. Like
but also too, I mean, like it's definitely Tennessee's got the talent, but just let's be real, it's been a
train wreck a little bit.
Yeah,
locker room train wreck
at Tennessee. But in terms of like, if I look at if I were to rank the 4 10 seeds, probably Tennessee would be if not the toughest 10 seed, and then you got Michigan after that. So I'm just sitting here, Greg, and it sucks to say, but I'm just sitting here like, again, with all the issues that we've been talking about with the zero depth. I'm just so struggling to have faith in that we're going to be able to put 2 back-to-back strong performances from your starting 5 to get through this, especially again at Michigan. So, which just sucks. Again, I don't want to feel that way. I'm just being honest. That's truly how I feel right now. It's just you're putting so much weight in making sure that of your starting 5, that 4 of them have pretty good games. Like that's basically what you need to have, and especially against Michigan, who's tough for sure, especially down low. And the fact that again, man, it's so sad. I hate talking this way about it, man. So please stop me.
No. And I was I had the right idea, but she had already left. It was Erin Bath. She was an assistant at Michigan, but now she's the head coach at Providence. So that's what I was trying to remember. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, again, it's kind of like the men with the Jekyll and Hyde. Like if you get the production that you expect, and look, it's women's basketball, so I can't even really tell you anything about Michigan women. So I don't know how they kind of line up. Let me just kind of want to just see. Keep going.
I was gonna say, I mean, like Tennessee is just it's basically the same thing. Like you basically have 2 Jekyll and Hydes playing against one another. I think Tennessee have a little bit more depth there, but also too, I think with Tennessee you're more kind of top 2 star focused, while with NC State it's more of basically you have your 5 and that's it. So
and in that first matchup, sorry, I didn't realize you were still talking Tennessee. So that's why I jumped to Michigan. My apologies. Because I was trying to look something up. So I apologize for only half listening. But that Tennessee test, that first game, of the season that was played in Greensboro, it was a 3-point win, but it was right down to the wire. Needed a kind of a defensive stop towards the end of the game. And we had a couple late free throws to seal it with Zam Jones. But yeah, the teams have definitely gone in kind of, different directions since then. Just kind of looking at, Tennessee finished 8-8 in the conference, 16 and 13 overall. Did they get like any really good solid wins? I'm just trying to see if they got anything. I mean, they got destroyed by UConn, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
They got
no,
destroyed by South Carolina. Who doesn't?
yeah,
Um, I mean,
Yep.
they lost to Texas by 2, so that's quote unquote a quality loss.
Yep.
Got beat by Ole Miss. Got beat by unranked Texas A&M. They lost to Oklahoma. Like, I'm not even seeing anyone they really beat. That's kind of worth a dang.
Yep.
And I mean, you can kind of say the state, same for state. We had a lot of close losses early in the season. And again, that's the point, right? Like I feel like we're better tested. But we didn't get some wins that we needed to get. But yeah, you're gonna have to take care of Cooper and Barker. They're two really good players. I'm just trying to see real quick what did the box score look like in that first game.
Well, real quick, and then I'll let you get in with that box score.
Cooper put up 23 against us. Yeah, we're gonna have to stop her.
Yeah. Well, and again, it goes to the point because I think if I'm not mistaken too, I saw a stat that I think like the history, I think in the last 40 years, Tennessee women's basketball has never not made it to NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Some crazy stat like that. So, is that bias there in the fact that they even made the tournament? Maybe, probably,
Yeah, I mean, 10 seed at large is,
you're basically a last four and
almost
borderline.
Yeah, you're probably the last 6 or 7 in. Yeah.
So, which is again, man, we we could easily make this a volunteers talk and be like, can y'all just stop with the whole like making sure it's a Pat Summitt like dynasty pick and just go get the best coach you can get? Like,
yeah,
like it's just not good for women's basketball for Tennessee to be this bad. It's just not.
No. I mean, they are a blue blood with regards to
the name for
women's basketball, and they definitely have not figured it out since the legendary Coach Summitt left the program. But
and again, also too, hey, she was a very, very close friend for KL. So hey, listen,
she was a hell of a coach. I mean, there's just
a hell of a coach.
There's no, I mean, one of the top 4 coaches of all time, men or women. Like, it's just insane. When you talk legendary basketball coaches, it's Wooden, Auriemma, Coach K, Dean Smith, Summitt. Like, those are probably arguably the 5 best head coaches of all time.
Yeah. Well, when all's said and done here, man, John Shire is hey, listen, I gotta give props to Coach K. Between the 2 blue bloods who retired, back to back.
Oh, they figured it out.
One coach made a hell of a pick. One coach,
yeah, I mean, hasn't had the NCAA success. I mean, you can argue that he's been good in the NCAA, but hasn't broke through. He's been to a Final Four. Been to an Elite 8. They lose to NC State in that game, but been to an Elite 8. I think he's a great coach. But again, typically it's just that's a train that just keeps running. But again, a good hire does matter.
I was gonna say,
when you're able to pull legacy guys like the Boozer twins, like that makes life easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, it was funny. I saw it was like a lineup of like if the guys had stayed. And so like going back to like the 3 years ago, like if Filipowski had stayed and he'd be a senior this year, if Cooper Flagg has stayed, if Kneppel, if the African center from last year, Cameron Boozer, like you name it, like
that would be
so loaded.
Yeah, they would be like the UNLV or Fab 5 teams back in the day where just they steamroll everybody, and it's like, okay, just wake us up when we get to the Final Four, and then we'll really play. But
which if you look at UNC side, you could say, dude, you had RJ Davis, who's literally his jersey's up in the rafters, and like the probably one of the best scorers to ever play at UNC, and you did not do much with him. But anyway, let's jump back into NC State here. So, talking about the line, so interesting. It's actually very fascinating how in the men's side, NC State's underdog by 1.5, and the women's side we're favored by 1.5 over Tennessee. So I think even Vegas is basically agreeing with our synopsis, Greg. If it's even Vegas is like, I don't know. I don't know. One team's going to win and one team's going to lose. That's all I can tell you. That's basically, in my opinion, what Vegas is telling
Yeah.
you by that line. So
Yeah. But it is interesting that, we got rematches for both of those, and they don't typically like to do those types of things. And we'll
Yep.
see. We'll see. I think they tip at what, 9:00 on Friday, something
Yep.
like 8:00, 9:00, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
Yep.
it's going to be a lot of sports going on this week for NC State.
Yes, there is.
We got baseball tomorrow, basketball tomorrow. Then Thursday, we'll see what happens if State advances, right? Because they play Tuesday and they would play Thursday. Is that right? Yeah.
That's correct. Well, and here's my other thing too, Greg. I was thinking about it being like, man, like from a sports perspective, like what is like the greatest time of the year? Like, like is it, late December, early January with the college football playoffs, the NFL
No, because State's
playoffs?
never in that. So no.
Is it, around mid-March where you have March Madness, you have Madness with wrestling going on, you have baseball.
You got swimming. State just sent 12 guys to the NCAA swimming championships. So you got that going. I know that doesn't get enough love. And you got tennis being really successful right now.
Yeah,
you got
Minnesota 6-0 in the ACC right now.
Yeah.
6-0 in the ACC.
Again, just doesn't get a lot of press because all this other stuff that's happening. I feel like the spring sports don't really get love until the fall sports are completely done with wrestling and basketball. And then kind of people just kind of shift their focus over to, whatever else is happening. I know that I've heard that from some of the baseball parents, especially when we had the Final Four runs a couple years ago, that no one really paid attention. And that was the year we went to Omaha and no one kind of paid attention until about the third or fourth ACC series that got underway. But it's a fun time of the year for sure. If we have postseason play in those three sports that we just mentioned. If not, people don't really care.
Which I saw an interesting stat that there's there's 6 total teams this year, Greg, in Division I that didn't get qualified for a bowl game, qualified for NCAA tournament bid in men's or women's basketball. And there's 3, Greg, from the ACC
that did.
That qualified in those 6.
All those, gotcha.
That no bowl game, no men's, no women's. Do you know the 3, Greg?
Oh, 3 from the ACC.
No bowl game, no men, no women.
I would say Wake Forest.
Nope, they qualified for a bowl game.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, they did get a bowl game. I forgot they won like 8 or 9 games.
9 games,
yeah. Syracuse.
Nope.
What did they get? They get in the women's tournament?
Or women's tournament. Women's tournament. Women's tournament, because we had 9 in the ACC women this year, which is a record.
Georgia Tech got a bowl game. I guess Boston College.
Yes.
Virginia Tech.
Nope.
What did they get? Women's basketball.
Women's basketball.
Okay.
Yep.
Virginia definitely did.
Football.
Miami definitely did.
They did.
Duke definitely did. Carolina did.
Shoot, Duke won all 3.
I know.
Yeah. You're naming every other team except
right. Notre Dame did. Oh, Pitt.
Nope.
No, Pitt got football.
Football.
Good God. This is the problem when you have so many teams, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
All right. For the sake of the show, give me the other 2. SMU did. Damn it. This is really pissing me off now.
Believe it or not, actually, both of them are kind of shocking, actually, when you think about it. So come on, you got this, Greg. One's down south.
Florida State.
Florida State
is not good. That's the one that shocks me because they're usually
exactly. They're usually pretty good. And then one is always, in terms of athletics, a blue blood.
Oh, Cal. No.
Nope.
Cal made a bowl
game.
Other one. Stanford.
Stanford.
Wow. Yeah, that one.
Exactly.
And they're still new to the ACC, so I'm still trying to remember that they're part of the conference. But yeah, that's a wild one because I mean, they're always
Yeah.
usually top 5 in the Directors Cup. It feels like because they play like 40.
No, always.
I think they have
Always.
like 41 Division One sports teams.
And they're all pretty
But
dang
that's the
good.
reason why they're always in the top of the standings. So they play like every damn sport.
Yep.
But yeah,
Well, it's and that's the funny thing is that like all three of those schools, like you're looking at that stat a little differently. Boston College, you're like, you know, I don't know, don't care. Hockey, men's hockey, like that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
Stanford, you're like, that's just a blip. You know, like we'll get it figured out. Like this is not the norm for us. Florida State, you're just seeing like the gif of like the SpongeBob brain on fire, like people running around, like, oh my god, like like that's basically FSU right now. Is like, holy crap! Like,
so the thing with Stanford, I think, is interesting. I would be curious because they fund all those sports. I just don't know how much rev share in NIL they're really putting into those programs because really, if you're funding 41 sports, you're not able to rev share like everything that you probably want to rev share. And so that might be an addition by subtraction, but I just don't know if they would ever let them get away. I mean, they do everything. Like when I tell you everything, they have like fencing, they do sailing, they do women's volleyball on the beach, men's volleyball. Like they do sports. They're like, that's even a sport. Like it's crazy that the sports that they do. What I would genuinely be curious is that if they have so many that it affects, what they're able to put in to like the really big three.
Well, because between the big three, I mean, the women's basketball definitely gets the nod with the history there.
History.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, men's football has been decent. I mean, they've been to some Rose Bowls and stuff.
Well, men's football has the players that. I mean, yes, they had Jim Harbaugh, but again, like
they have a history. They had John Elway, Harbaugh, Jim Plunkett, Andrew Luck. Like, I mean, I
guess maybe more recent history.
No. You mean Jim Harbaugh as a coach, though, not as a quarterback, because he played quarterback at Michigan.
He played Michigan.
Yeah, but they had Shaw. Shaw was a really good head coach for a long time out at Stanford. Like they were pretty successful. Again, though, here's the problem, and I'll let you get to your point. They're one of those schools that just because you're an athlete, they don't change the rules because you're an athlete. Like you still have to qualify academically. Like they're only one of a handful of schools where they don't waive that because you're an athlete. Like Virginia's that way, Duke's that way, Notre Dame's that way, and then Stanford. Like they don't play when it comes to academic just because you're an athlete.
No, but here's the thing though too is like, listen, I think hiring Andrew Luck as the GM.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, it's smart. Like it brings publicity, like it brings like onus, to the program.
Well, it brings eyes, right? And you're hoping that brings dollars, right? That's the hope.
But that's the thing, though, is like, I think it's a guy that yes, like will bring interest for sure. But in terms of guys that you feel very confidently can execute, the business acumen needed to make these decisions of how to spend money.
Yeah, but he's a smart dude. He went to Stanford. I mean,
no. Hey, listen. I'm just sitting here like trying to figure out, if you're Stanford, like, what do you like which of these sports is going to be the sport that you invest in? Do you even invest in these sports? Because just like you said, it's going to be, I don't know. It's just going to be them like rallying up and saying we are getting behind this team, or pulling from others, which there's just no way they're going to do that. They're too proud about being all around, which I get for sure. NC State fan, I completely get and love being all around school for sure. So
yeah,
it's interesting. It's an interesting case scenario for sure down over there at Stanford. But again, for NC State right now, Greg, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Looking back at this athletic year, man, it has been
it's been a little weird
one for sure. It's been a rough, weird one for sure. It's definitely not gone as I think NC State fans have hoped for sure. With football definitely not going as strongly as you were hoping for. Men's basketball definitely nowhere near as strongly as you were hoping for. But here's the thing though, is like all these sports, in women's basketball included, wrestling is included in that. It's not that they were like, I think that actually all are on like kind of the exact same approach or exact same result, which is they weren't all god awful. They were
Right.
all decent, like decent
Mhm.
seasons, but
Mhm.
it just didn't meet expectations. With football,
Right.
you bring CJ,
Right.
you have Noah back. You definitely, we're hoping for a big step forward finally.
You
With
don't. Yeah, but I feel like football kind of did end up meeting expectations
well,
because I think
yes,
we had unrealistic expectations. Like
yes,
they met historical expectations.
but again, same thing with basketball. We had extreme expectations for men's basketball.
But here's the thing: they're still going on, so you really can't put a final grade on that yet. Because if they go
Not
make a
yet.
Final Four run,
They
like
could,
that's and
but
go ahead.
well,
But
but
how far did we really think this team was going to get, even with all the additions? Right? We always kind of put the ceiling at a Sweet 16 berth.
yeah, well, but also too, I mean, Will Wade is also too. Again, he was the one setting those
Yeah,
expectations.
but again, the only thing we haven't met expectation with Wade was being in the top 4 of the ACC regular season. Like,
Yep.
if you go hit Sweet 16, like again, I mean, that's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's not a given for any reason. But
Yep.
if you make it to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, it's a successful season. I think in
No,
probably
I
9 out of
agree
10
with
NC State fans.
that. I would agree with that.
I
Yep.
think also if the women figure it out and get to a Sweet 16, that's probably right around expectation, though maybe people thought they could be an Elite 8 team based off of kind of the preseason hype.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm not out on saying successful, not successful yet for those programs right now. They do get an incomplete.
Well, but also too, and I know that we kind of agree on this, Greg, is at the end of the day, the saying, they are who we thought they were. And
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
and as of right now, I'm gonna take a full regular season and a part of a postseason. I'm gonna say, all right, like, I have a pretty good feeling of how I'm expecting this to go. But
Yeah. I mean, because you have some trends that have already shown their face.
yes, and not just like small trends, like full trends. Like, yep, nope, like we've seen it here for sure. But it's the postseason. Anything can happen here, especially with NCAA tournament. Now, every single game could be potentially your last game.
Yeah, here's the thing: we as NC State fans know probably better than a lot of teams because we have history in doing these crazy things and make miracle postseason runs where you win it one year in '83, and then you have another one just 2 years ago. That like would we be shocked if it happened? Yeah, I think there would be some, or I think we would be surprised, but I don't know if we would be shocked if we were to somehow find a run, because again, there's precedent, right? There's things there that we've somehow found a way to flip switches. Again, do I expect that? No, I don't. But just to go ahead and poo-poo everything, I think that's a little unrealistic as well, because again, you never know, like I said earlier, when you got a wounded dog and how much they're going to fight back.
Yep. Well, and here's the funny thing too, Greg, as well, is that it like I think I've said this for a while now, even before the 2024 run, but like the 1983 run is the best, worst thing to ever happen at NC State, because now every single time that state makes the tournament, everybody in the country looks at NC State and like, oh, cardiac pack, y'all gonna do it, right? And now you have the 2024 run, which is just as as unprecedented as the 1983 run, and now you're really
I would say it was more unprecedented, to be honest with you. Yeah, because the 83 team was really good if it wasn't for Witt's broken foot. Like, that was a quality team. The only difference is the what kind of changes a little bit is because the field was much smaller back then. That kind of changes it, and the fashion that they whether they were or weren't in, there's always been speculation about that, but there was, the season was done unless you won the ACC in 24, and Keats was 99% going to be fired at the end of that ACC tournament had they not won it. And then he I don't know if he would have even, I mean, he probably would have still had another year if they lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but who knows how that would have played out. It would have looked bad, but
Disgusting.
yeah, but you saw how the next season turned out, so it wouldn't have been completely shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So again, so now even more like I saw a graphic where it was like basically like had like all the teams broken down to like national title contenders, Sweet 16 contenders, and then it basically had like teams that are gonna pull TV eyes, and it has like UNC, Gonzaga,
Sure.
in there, and it has NC State in there, like it's gonna pull eyes, and then the fourth tier is like teams that barely got in, but would
just
still
happy to be there.
Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, and it would still beat Auburn. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
again,
I mean,
man,
look, some people are talking about State still for this thing. Like again, like you kind of mentioned it, it's not a crazy bracket considering BYU's injury. That guy, he averages 18 points. He's their third leading scorer, plays a significant role. So if you get past Duke, like okay, Gonzaga has been okay, but they have a history of like choking in the NCAA tournament. It's not like not possible. Has Gonzaga won a national championship? Did they win one?
Yes.
I think they did
beat,
like
they
about
beat Carolina on the shot, right? No,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
Villanova.
No, it was Villanova.
That was Villanova.
I don't know if they've won one. But again, they've been good.
Yeah.
But you never know how good that team really is because of the conference they play in.
Right.
And again, it's when you get to the NCAA tournament, there's bracket luck involved. There's all kinds of things in there that that just kind of become a thing, right? Where you end up playing. I will say that the draw sucks from a NC State fan perspective. Trying to get there, it's all the way across the country. It's not drivable. It's not anything. In fact, if State were to make it to the Sweet 16, it's still out on the West Coast. Though it's not bad. We did okay in '83 being out in the West Coast. It worked out for us. So that kind of sucks. Like if it had been Philly, even St. Louis. St. Louis is pretty easy to get to from an airline, airplane perspective. Portland sucks to get to. Like it sucks. You're not getting a direct flight out there from Raleigh or pretty much anything on the East Coast. You're gonna have to transfer. I think the next round is in like San Diego. Is that right? Do you know?
Yeah, no, it's all out West Coast.
Basically. Yeah, and then where is it this year? Indianapolis? Where is it at this year? I don't even know. That's not bad.
Four?
Yeah.
That's all I remember was when we went to the Final Four in 2024, how like they announced the next 4 sites and like literally all of them were either Phoenix or further west. And
it might be Dallas this year, or was that last year?
That was last year.
Yeah. I
believe.
Yeah, I don't even know. Where is it at?
Again, hey, listen.
It's in Lucas Oil. Yeah, I was right. It's it's Indianapolis. Yeah.
Yep. Which that's a cool spot for it for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's
So hey, would love to go there. Never been to Indianapolis. I've been to Indiana one time, and that was for the Notre Dame football game in 2017. So no, exactly. So
women are in Phoenix, but they're not at the same stadium that the
not State Farm Stadium.
Yeah. I think it would be awesome if they could just co-locate that thing, man. Like
men and women.
Yeah, that would be fun. Like play it. I mean, granted, I don't think the optics of a women's game, at the same stadium or the venue, but maybe you get an NBA arena in in an NFL stadium at the same location and have them both. I think that would be pretty fun, but I don't know logistically from a hotel, viewpoint if that would be possible because that's a lot.
That would have been phenomenal in 2024.
That was kind of why I was saying it. Yeah, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah, man.
No, my guy Hayes made it to both locations, so that's an impressive feat. And then I know there was a few, but he's the one I know personally that did it. So.
Yeah, that's a feat.
All right, man. Well, I think that's about it. Big week though. Lots of things to watch from NC State. Like I said, baseball and basketball tomorrow.
Yep.
Then hopefully basketball on Thursday, basketball on Friday, hopefully basketball on Sunday and Saturday because you play Thursday. Yeah, geez.
Yep.
So you could have basketball Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if it works out for State.
And you got wrestling Thursday through
That's
Sunday.
true.
You got
That's true. We haven't
you
even
got
talked about that.
you got baseball Friday through Sunday.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow. So yeah, no. But again, hey, huge shout out to also Wolfpack Wrestling. We'll end it on that for sure. Definitely Isaac Trumbull, got my eyes on him for sure to go win the Natty. Go get it done, man. Want
ran
it
into
so
him
bad.
ran into him on Friday at baseball, so it was good seeing him out there with his wife, and I know they got a baby on the way, I believe, right?
That's correct. Yeah, if already here yet. So
no, I don't think, but yeah, no, it's gonna be lots to do. Just if you got to call out sick and find a spot on your couch to cozy up and order some pizza and some wings, and it'll be fun. It is a fun time of the year. All right, because I know we won't have anything until next week. What's your over under on upsets for this tournament? Like if I gave you the first weekend, if I gave you 10, you taking the over or the under?
For men's basketball?
For men's basketball, yeah. Women's typically doesn't a lot of. There's probably less than 4 or 5 in women's.
No, which is always why I honestly it bugs me watching the selections Sunday for women, because you see the 12 seed, Queen's University going. It's like, you're about to go get killed by 50. And
that's the other thing too. Yeah, those games aren't even competitive, right? So not only are they not getting upsets, they're usually not even competitive. It doesn't even really get competitive until the Elite Eight.
No, yeah, literally, who's Michigan play? Michigan plays Holy Cross. And guess how much Michigan's favored by?
I'm gonna say 33.
41.5.
There you go. See, yeah, so, it's not even. But there's no 41.5 in men's basketball. I think probably the highest you're probably gonna see is 17 or 18.
No, do you Duke over Siena? You think Duke's not an extreme favorite?
Didn't Siena play them one year and play them close? I felt like that was one of those games where they, it was in Raleigh that, I don't know if Duke got upset, but
I'm pulling it up because that's, I don't know if they've, I don't know. Yeah, no, I would say Duke's going to be a close to 30-point favorite against Siena if I had to guess. I would guess, but but still, the fact, you don't
Mercer. It was Mercer that I'm thinking about.
It's pretty much your 1 versus 16s, your 2 versus 15s are going to be absolute blowouts, which but maybe. But anywho, so wrapping it up though, I did want to give also again, just shout out once again, give wrestling its flowers. There's definitely a few guys there that can make some noise. Maddie Singleton, Coy Besgans, even Vince Robinson, who has been a thorn in our side all season. He's a returning national champion, can never count him out. And Trumbull, excited for those guys. So just, let's go see if we can make some noise. And also too, as well, it's the funniest thing. It's never a good thing in DraftKings when they have the odds of, winning the Natty, and they literally have its own separate bet where it says champion outside of Penn State for wrestling. It's it's never a good thing when you literally have
Penn State versus the field. Yeah.
It's literally if besides Penn State, who's going to win it otherwise? Like that. So anyway, with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure give us a follow now on Twitter. And again, y'all, just looking forward to joining up again on Monday next week, as once again we will have a crap ton to talk about. So make sure to make plans. Join us Monday night. Again, apologies for the late start, but again, hoping to be back Monday night, 8:05 p.m. next week. And again, enjoy this week to come. It's going to be amazing. Let's start with a huge win, 2 huge wins tomorrow night in baseball and men's basketball. And let's get these things done. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, go Pack and beat Texas and beat the Seahawks.